Hello, name's Christopher. I was asked to put a little video together on how to do a beard, mustache, or goatee sculpting project for a hairless action figure face. I did a beard on a Recondo figure for a buddy of mine, Brian Holm, from Checkpoint Bravo, a little G.I. Joe friend group, classified friend group that we have, where we encourage, support, and razz each other a bit over action figures and some of the shit that we're into. So they all seem to love it. They wanted to know how to do it. So here's a quick little video on how the process works. All right, so what you do is you start with your Apoxy Sculpt. This comes in two different forms. You need both parts to get this to work. You take, of course, just a little pinch from one, a little pinch from the other, and you mash them together, just like playing with Play-Doh back when you were a kid. Don't recommend eating this shit because, pretty sure it's not good for you. So don't eat the Play-Doh. You let that form, you let that set for a few. That way it'll start to firm up. But the process starts as soon as it molds together. So, now that we've got that part done, put the lid back on this one so it doesn't dry out. Shit's kind of expensive. So when it comes to getting this together, we've got these two pieces together here. That's bonding. We're going to let that set for a minute. We have these two heads that we're working with. Obviously, this one already has a beard, but it is a tiny head that I don't exactly have any use for, so we're going to go ahead and fuck with it, and then we're going to see how it turns out. This one here is from Nightwing, from a DC figure that I got from a trade with Brian. Sent me this earlier, so I told him I wanted to go and see what I can do with it, and we're gonna slap a goatee on it and see how he looks and go from there. We have in the background here, if you can see, this is one that I've already done. This originally was a Tiger Force Dusty. He of course now has a goatee, and he has been painted black, dark hair, dark goatee, as opposed to baby faced and blonde. We also have a Duke back here as well, Tiger Force Duke. Here you are, see how he is. He is not finished yet because I need to finish painting the rest of his head, but that's where we are at the moment. Super easy process. I'm going to show you guys how to do all that. And hopefully some of these tips and tricks help. All right. Sorry, I had to take a break. Had some husbandly duty stuff to do for the missus. So back to where we were. We have our head that we're working with here. We have this guy. We also have our Apoxy Sculpt, which we've already mixed, which is here. We have started rolling out and thinning some of the sculpt. As I mentioned, we're going to do a mustache and goatee. Again, take just a little bit here, and you just slap it on, and then you start molding and shaping once it is on. It's a gnarly looking booger. Let's see here. Now, granted, as I mentioned, it's a lot of trial and error. There isn't necessarily a right way to do this, or a wrong way. I guess it's whatever you prefer. Got a bit of a hair lip there. That's not what I'm going for. But when you use your tool with using the Apoxy Sculpt, you are wanting to press it down so it'll bond or attach itself to the surface of what you're putting it on. And of course his hair is all going up the nose hole, which we don't necessarily want, or maybe you do. I don't. So this is where the pointy end tools come in handy. So you can go in and dig out anything that's you're not wanting, like that. See, one nice little booger has been taken out. And that's really all you do. You just go in and you shape it how you want it. Once you have it shaped how you want, you can add and take away as much or as little as you'd like. And you just kind of keep going until you have it filled out to where you think it's perfect. Because again, you're the one doing it, so it's entirely up to you. Now, if you have an image in mind of what you're wanting, just try to stick to it. Just play with it. Again, I can say this so many times. There's no right or wrong. It's whatever you're interested in. It's whatever you're going for. It takes a while for this to set, which is a good thing. So I mean, once you get to a spot that you like, you just set it down and leave it for a day or so to allow it to cure. And once it's completely cured, dried, hardened, you can go in and essentially paint it. And you're all done. And that's all there is to it. And that's that. Granted, that's not how it's going to look, but that's just where we are from now. You have more, so obviously we're going to take that, we're going to thin it out a little more, and we're going to work that in. And same for the other side over here. And I have to say, doing a beard was significantly easier. I used the Recondo figure for the beard. Already had a mustache, beautiful mustache. You just had to go in and fill it in to incorporate it, which I didn't think was going to be all that hard. I didn't think it really was that hard, but when it came to the painting process, it was a bit difficult because the plastic from the Hasbro portion of it was significantly darker than the plaster that I was using, or the paint that was on the plaster that I was using. Now, the Apoxy Sculpt, when you are working with it, you can use pretty much anything with a straight edge that's hard or firm to help smooth it out. It also helps that when you're using it, if you get it wet, you have water, which I have a cup of here. Water, just a little cup. I dip the end piece into, and then allows me to apply a little here and there to help make it easier to spread and to shape. It also keeps it from sticking to whatever object you're using to shape it and to mold it. And there's, of course, always using your fingers or your nails, whatever you have at your disposal. Normally when I'm doing this, I'm listening to some kind of music, but that's always on my phone. I'm recording on my phone, so it'd be a bit of a distraction. Also, of course, the wife is asleep. She's got to get up in the morning, so I'm not trying to wake her up either. Happy wife, happy life. But as I mentioned, this is incredibly malleable, so it'll do whatever you want it to do as long as you're shaping it and playing with it. And when you're doing so, if you're trying to do facial hair, you can always try to work ahead by putting your lines in for the texturing. If you want. Again, you can always do that later. It takes a while for it to harden. And if you mess up on it, again, it's cool if you do, because you can always go back and you can fix it. That's generally what I use this for. If I over correct, or if I over dig in when it comes to drawing the lines, I can just run this over and it'll smooth it out like an old school Etch-a-Sketch, and voila, start over, start again, try something else. See, play with it and it just falls off sometimes, which again, it's fine. It's not the end of the world. We can always make that work, and the side was a bit heavy as it was. And taking a look again, see, there we are. Now we're going to be slapping the bottom portion of the goatee on here as well. So a lot of this on the chin is going to get covered up, and then you work on the little soul patch there. Make sure you got your divots in if that's what you want on the side, to where it'll clean that up like it is over here on him. But while we're doing that, chin portion is a little easier in my opinion, because for that, just take a little ball, depending on the size that you're working with here, of course. Then you just mash that sucker down. And obviously it doesn't necessarily look great with that as is, but that's where all the sculpting and the digging and the shaping comes into play. Okay. Granted, it's a bit clunky. Obviously, as I mentioned, I just put a big old dollop on that fucker. But you just put it on, man, and then you just start working it around. And then eventually it just kind of starts to take shape. Now what I'm doing now is I'm just, patting it down and kind of putting in streaks, but that's just so I can thin it out. That way I can spread it around without ripping it off and having to start all over, which I've had to do a few times and is a pain in the ass when that happens. Now, if you have other tools, like say a Dremel uh, or little sandpaper, once this is dried, you can always use that to help take away any of this excess on the inside. In the event that if you happen to leave a little too much, obviously you can do a little or you can just do a lot, depending on how heavy-handed you are. Because again, you want to make sure you can get this on a figure later. Okay. Not quite there yet, but we are getting closer. You want to see it here? Then you put just a little bit more here so it sticks out just a bit. Not a lot, just a little bit more, much like you would see for real. I apologize for all the silence or the heavy breathing. I'm doing this on my phone, and my phone is right in front of my face so you guys can see what it is I'm doing, and trying to remember to put this thing back in focus each time. So if you are watching this and you're hearing all this heavy breathing, I apologize. Unfortunately, I'm a bit of a fat fucker, so can't be helped. So now that I've got that pretty much the profile that I want, like I'm good with that. Like I'm okay with that. Like I just need to go in and tweak a little bit of this on the mustache because he's got some gnarly boogers. Okay. That's a little wonky there. All right, and that I think is that. I apologize if you didn't get to see that on the screen. I have to go back and edit some of this out, but that's how you do a goatee, pretty much. You start with thin strip, cover the upper lip, and then you work down on either side up until you get to the point at the bottom of the jaw where you're good. You then take another little clump. You just slap that shit on the chin and then spread it out evenly until you get a consistency that you're comfortable with, that you like. And then you take your straight edge and you just kind of poke around and you spread it out. Like I said, there is no real right or wrong way to do it. It's entirely up to you. It's whatever you're comfortable with. But that's it. That's how you do that. So we'll set him there. And that's where he'll sit. And he'll dry and cure. And hopefully he'll be good to go here in another day or so. All right. So that's pretty much it. That's all there is to doing a goatee. You take your part A, part B of epoxy, slap them together, let them start doing what they do. You take a little bit, put it on the spot that you want to work with, in this case, the upper lip, and then we worked that around. We stretched it out where it came down, and then we made a very awkward looking Fu Manchu. And then we added some more epoxy to the chin, and then we glopped that stuff all over it and shaped it. And I'm pretty happy with how it looks right now. I don't think it's the best one I've done. The best one I've done is the Duke one. That's probably my favorite one. But the first one I did was the Dusty. But after I let it sit and cure, I went back to it a couple days later to tweak. And I broke off the mustache to where he just had the chin part covered. So the version that he has now is version 2. And I love this version. I think it's great. And I think it's a great head sculpt. And he looks so badass as a raven-haired baddie. As a Cobra operative. So again, I'm super happy and satisfied with it. And again, ultimately, it's up to you, the artist, the toy enthusiast discretion. Go with what you like. It's your shit. Do what you want with it. It's a lot of fun to do. It is an absolute blast. There's tons of YouTube videos that tell you how to do this stuff. There's an incredible community of people who will answer questions and provide tips and tricks that they have used and they've done to help. Again, through their own successes and failures. It's what I think I like most about this whole thing when it comes to action figures and collecting and doing photos and attempting to do stop motions. And like, everybody is just so fucking encouraging, which is so awesome. As someone, of course, who's been trying to do this for a while, it gets frustrating, of course, when you fail. And it comes out looking like dog shit. But then you go back and you watch it and you see, oh my God, that's so fucking cool. It's so amazing. It's so incredible. And then your buddy watches it and then his buddy watches it. And like, they don't have criticisms. Like they provide words, positive feedback. Because they all understand that the shit is fucking hard. And it all pays off, and it's all worth it. So as with anything in life, if it's worth doing, it's going to be difficult. And just keep plugging away, keep trying. Hope some of this helps. Hope all of it helps. If you have any questions, I'm always available. NorCal_voodoo on Instagram, and of course on YouTube. Checkpoint Bravo Customs, Turk Murphy. You guys get a chance, check him out. And of course, The Real Grievance, John Montgomery. Awesome dude, doing some incredible shit with his figure building. Dude's got some shit, got some stuff, man. And if you don't know, you will know. Pay attention. You'll learn you something. Thanks for your time. Thanks for letting me bend your ear and showing you some shit that I'm working on. And that's it. Deuces.